participation in math. And let's see if I can get to this one here. Shout out to Sierra, Joanna, Savannah, Ariana H, Jada, Melina, Tatiana, Brittany, Pragya, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name, Brooke, and Zanella for killing it in living environments. Good job, Avery.
Seniors. All right, and now we're going to turn it over to the one and only Miss George to talk to us about internet safety and digital drama.
Hello again, everybody. I'm going to do my best to person this slideshow, but also try to see what you have in the chat, but your beautiful faces have had to go for the time being, so hopefully you'll not make eye rolls at me while I'm presenting. I was just kidding. So let's take a deep breath, right? I know it's been a really, really, really stressful time, year, day, week. And talking about internet safety and digital drama can be stressful. So let's just take a second again to center ourselves and take some deep breaths. Just thinking about how we want to move ourselves forward today. All right, so there's definitely a lot. And as a parent myself, you know, the internet can be a really amazing space, especially that we've been remote, that we have been able to communicate and come together even though we're apart, which is really an excellent factor of things. I can't imagine how bored everyone was during the Spanish flu of 1918. So I'm glad that we are still able to have these connections here. But it can be overwhelming, and I just need to say I do not have all the answers to all of this, and we are all doing our absolute best to support our scholars. I know you are too, so just want to name that first. So thank you to those who submitted your questions, your comments. I always say that you are all your best experts with your children, so it's really important that we're hearing from you. So I just want to share a little bit about some of the questions that you all presented, and hopefully some will get answered in this workshop. Sorry, there's a lot of text, but I just want to make sure. So we talked about concerns, right? What concerns do you have for their online time, their digital drama with peers, or their internet safety? So yeah, adult contact, strangers, and safety, right? Late night homework when things take a long time. This digital drama, thank you for naming our session title. Families not being home during the day, and kids, you know, being on their own to navigate being in school and or not, and the challenges that that can pose. Limited exercise came up. I know that a lot of us are sitting a lot of the time. That's been tough. A lot of screen time. Tough to manage what they're doing, right? How can I assure that I know what they're doing? Because kids are really, you know, they're slick. They've always been, but certainly with the internet, they can be even more slick. So it's hard to see what they're doing. Not having as much social interaction, and will that result in poor communication skills? And again, someone pointed out some scholars aren't attending class, so the concern of they're not getting what they need in order to go on to the next grade, and just in general that there'll be negative influences on them. So in the chat, if you want to just real quick throw any of your concerns that are in here, I want to make sure that this feels a interactive experience. We have lots of different concerns about it, so there's things up here that you agree with or other concerns you want to shout out. Just knowing that we're not alone in this, please feel free to share in the chat concerns that you have about the internet and online digital drama and internet safety. Please feel free to write those in. And then there were a lot of questions posed, and I'm glad that I got to see these before presenting, because there were certain ones that I thought were really important to include. So how can I open this space to have a more meaningful dialogue about what she might see? Insert this for like many conversations with our kids, right? How do I open up space in general? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Current guidelines for names, sharing info of internet safety, to talk about it in age-appropriate ways. I have some resources for you all just to make sure that you have a space to check out these things. Will there be a safe space set up for the girls and their parents to meet and talk outside of Chat and Choose? If you ask this question, I'd like a little bit more about that. We create Sister Circle. So every day when we are doing our ruler activities, that really is a safe space for our students to be able to meet and chat and talk to the teachers. And if you all wanted something expansive with me to facilitate, I'm very happy to do that. In addition to parental controls, how can I monitor movement online? Who are they meeting? And in this question, I learned about a game called Among Us, right? Who are they connecting with? Who are these people on the other end? And that is certainly a question that I have. So, you know, digital drama, we're going to talk about what that is compared to cyberbullying, right? But these are real things that are written down, right? Ways that we talk about liquid courage, right? When people can say things when they've had a couple drinks. This is cyber courage. I can say what I want, do what I want, because you're not physically next to me. And just some of the comments and things that either our students have heard or have, you know, the impact of it is just really intense, and just want to make sure to name it. It's scary. It's scary to me as a parent. It's scary to me as a school social worker. And it always feels like a catch-up game, and, you know, the next app comes and all of that. So it's a real tough space for it. So we're just going to watch this video real quick. I'm not getting too much into bullying, but I just want to clarify like cyberbullying specifically, and just to see what this is. Let me just make sure my sound is on. I think it is, but let me know if it's not, please.
Emoji. Send. Message. Hi with a bunch of eyes. Say what's up. Somebody. What's up? Message.
Miss George, do you mind just, I think the sound cut out at least on my end. Yolanda, is it out on yours? Okay. Maybe just, it was coming through.
Oops. Okay, give me a second. Sorry. I need my Zoom controls back in, and I don't know how to get those back. I'm so sorry, everybody. This is when I show my lack of tech abilities. I hid my Zoom thing and then I can't find it. Any ideas on how to find it again? Everybody, my remote.
Yeah, Miss George, if you go to the top of your screen where you are sharing, even if you like quickly hit the little caret or the little arrow beside sharing, does it show you that?
No, because I'm in like full screen.
Can you hit escape to get out of full screen?
Just hit escape, the escape key.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let me share my sound. That's going to do it. I'm going to start this again. Apologies. Again, my tech life. Thank you for your patience.
When we're mean, we might say or do things that hurt others. We might be feeling angry, upset, or jealous. It could happen once, or maybe even twice. Being mean is not okay, but bullying is much worse. Bullying is when someone uses their power repeatedly to hurt or upset someone. It could be hurting them physically or calling them names and saying hurtful things. So then, what's cyberbullying? Cyberbullying's like bullying, but it happens on the internet or on a device like your phone, which can make it kind of different. With cyberbullying, it can feel harder to escape because it can happen anywhere, anytime. Also, it's easier for cyberbullies to hide who they are. Plus, other people online could see what's happening and even gang up on someone. If you see someone being bullied, in person or online, what can you do? Give them support. It helps to show that you care. Be an upstander. Stand up for others and say something to the bully. Report what you see and tell a trusted adult. So, what will you do if you see cyberbullying?
All right, And Common Sense is an amazing website that has a ton of resources. I have that at the end of this presentation so you can see it. But there are certainly challenges that students have when they feel cyberbullied. And so this is from a few years ago, but again, the issues of bullying or cyberbullying can certainly have significant impacts, especially as kids get older. So just showing you some of the concerns for it. And so again, this is a few years old, right? So from about 2016, I think this presentation, as far as from Common Sense is from, right? Where are people getting cyberbullied? So Instagram was the highest, Facebook, but I know all our kids are like, Miss George, you're on Facebook, you're so old. So like, let's not think about that for them, right? And Snapchat, YouTube, so many different spaces. But through some kid support and more exploration, right? There's so much more. And this is when I get really overwhelmed, because once I think I get a handle on something, there's a new thing, right? So it used to be Kik, and now it's Discord, which is this this app here, right? TikTok, people can make comments. There's group chats going on, FaceTime, there's video games, there's stuff in the Zoom chat. And then our kids are staying up real late doing all these things, right? How do we get them to go to bed? So there's so many different ways that everyone can communicate and access one another, which again is a real positive thing and a real scary thing. And how are we negotiating the difference between the two and helping our kids make those judgments as well? So, you know, it's important to just think about the impact of when kids are bullied, right? It affects their academics, their self-esteem. It can sometimes turn outwards in violent behavior or inward for depression. Kids who bully, and it's important, you know, we oftentimes don't always think about the bully, right? But they probably have a lot going on themselves. And so here's more likeliness of what if someone who bullies does, and then kids who witness bullying, right? It can be a trauma to watch these things and feel really helpless about it. So this isn't the be all end all if any kid falls into this category, but just some, you know, additional concerns we wanted to float. So making sure we're also considering child development. And I just want to remind you about Yardsticks by Chip Wood. It's a great book that sort of talks about developmental stages, but you know, there are going to be times when your tween or teen is pushing limits, right? When they are thinking about things of their peers and they're not thinking about us as much as adults, right? It is normal for them. It's normal for them to be concerned about their appearance, right? To distance themselves a little bit, to have those really fun middle school emotions that can swing and be really, really, really strong when we think things are a big deal and they think it's a big deal and they may not. So again, there's just lots of different spaces to just see, and giving kids the opportunity to be open about these is like really, really important, okay? And letting them have that space. When it's like, what's going on, right? How can I ask? If we notice changes that are not explained by other things. So when my daughter, you know, started regressing a little bit in her own way when the pandemic started, like I was very aware of what that was. So, but if a change happens and you're not sure about it, if they seem anxious or on edge after being online, they get lots of alerts, they seem more irritable. And again, it's hard to distinguish sometimes the typical teenage irritability, right? But like just monitoring, right? What's going on? How are you? Talk to me. If they're hiding things, it's time to ask. And when we ask, please, and I know I need to say this myself, but please let that space be to listen and hear them. We want to jump in. We want to solve it. We want to tell them no. We want to tell them yes, but like just giving them that extra time to allow them to speak. And then when things become more severe, right, you're welcome to reach out to me, but it's time to get help if self-harm happens, suicidal thoughts, if there's total withdrawal or other safety concerns or risk-taking behavior, right? Sometimes kids explore sexual photographs of themselves or others, right? So thinking about what might feel like normal for that versus like my child's exposing themselves online, right? So then it would be time to get help, and you're not alone with it. And it's always a confidential call to me. And if I can't help, or I can certainly, oh, sorry, Marwa. Yeah, it's true. I'm sorry you learned about it this way, but we want to make sure that we're making good choices online. So what are we doing as a school? And, you know, I want to make sure to share some of these things that is not limited to this list. It's just what I was coming with here. But school issued tech When you have a device that is from our school, we have the ability to block specific content and apps. It is automatically done. That being said, there are some apps that the kids use, like YouTube, right? Which can still have content that is inappropriate, but it's something that's also an educational tool. Connecting with trusted adults, right? You all get points of contact, text messages, phone calls, all of those things, and making sure that our kids have those trusted adults to be able to communicate with and build those relationships so that they can disclose. Because I know, and you know, if you can go back to your teenage years, sometimes your parent or your guardian is not the first person you're going to talk about things with. Okay. We also have Ruler, right? So we're doing Sister Circle. We're talking about feelings, talking about what happens when we feel activated, right? And something happens. How can I respond to it? How can I be my best self? So the lessons that are coming up in Ruler these next weeks are really going to be related. And then I'm not sure if you all know, but I wanted to alert you to 2 programs that we use. It's not about reading everything that everybody says, but they are machine learning technology that flags content. If there is a word, a phrase, something that comes up, a picture, in order to be able to identify students so that we can check in with them. So on that respect, you know, sometimes kids will say things like, oh my God, my mom took my phone away, I just want to die. And they have emailed that to their friends. And then we get an alert that they said something like, I just want to die, right? So I'd rather check in with that kid and have them be like, Miss George, I am fine. Like I was just saying it. But God forbid they really meant it, right? This is an opportunity for us to understand what's going on and be able to develop a response plan. I'm not going to show the video. You all can check it out, but it's just a really cool way. They also go through it and they discern it. So we look at something and we might say like, hey, everyone, this is really just, they're talking about, you know, something else, and we can really go over it. If there are safety concerns, certainly families are notified, and we talk about next steps. So I have to say this has been really helpful. We've actually been able to help some kids specifically who are having a really tough time. And had we not had this, they wouldn't have been able to get that next step to get the help. So it's very fortunate. It is for their school Google accounts. Yeah, so anything that's related either on the device or through Google. If I email you, Joanne, from my separate device, it will still come up because it is through our server, you know, tech thing, whatever. So yes, thank you for clarifying that. So what can you do? Kids need limits and boundaries. And what's fun about when we set limits and boundaries at this age is we get a lot of pushback. And pushback is okay. Sometimes when our kids look at us and they're like, I hate you right now, that might mean that we're actually doing what we need to be doing. They want to be able to have, you know, full access to everything. And when we set those limits and boundaries, whether they like it or not, it's really, really helpful. Keep phones or other tech away when they're in school. I sometimes am in sessions and kids are on their computer and they're looking down at their phone, right? And how can I make sure that maybe I had kids like, you know what, Miss George, I'm not getting my work done. My mom takes my phone now. And making sure we know that. And taking tech at bedtime. Again, this is a tough one, right? Our kids are going to argue back with us. But I also have students who are like, oh, I was really late to school because I was up till 4 a.m. And we've all had those moments, right? Where we are like so dead exhausted, you get in bed and then you start looking at your phone. Okay. So it's important to like think about that too. Change your Wi-Fi password. Right. So Mara was saying she doesn't know her Wi-Fi password. And sometimes I've seen clever things where it's like, oh, you want your Wi-Fi password? These are the things that you need to do, right? Read for 30 minutes, empty the dishwasher. Then and only then I will give you the password, right? And I do this because I love you. So I always like that. I think it's kind of a fun way to make sure you can get chores done and stuff, but also it really shows it can just allow people to disconnect. We'll talk a little bit about parent controls, screen time limits. These are features that are available on most devices. Just to think about, like, if you want to set that and lock it with a password, you can do that as well. And again, you know, regarding cyberbullying and just how are we treating one another, right? Making sure we're having conversations, talk through scenarios. Sometimes I find with kids, even if they want to talk about themselves, if we say things like, what about kids your age? Like, what are some of the challenges that your peers are going through? It can really be a way to sort of disarm them and have them share. I'm just going to close my door, sorry. my 2-year-old wandered in. I know you all like when my kids interrupt my chat and choose. But like giving them those scenarios that maybe are just the one-off of it's about someone else. You know, it's like my friend, I have a friend who has a problem and it's really us, but it's just a way to sort of distance ourselves from it. Again, setting those limits and showing it yourself, you know, making sure that if your kids are following you in on social media, that the ways that you are, you know, posting and responding and commenting, that you're, you know, the things that you want from them that you're doing yourself. So you all shared your best practices and I was like really blown away. Not blown away, you're all amazing, not blown away, expected all of it. So there are monitoring apps, checking your histories, right? You can go into Google searches, seeing what she watches, right? Time limits, parental controls. There's just so many different ways. Someone went like real deep into the different ways to do parental controls. And I have like the ultimate guidebook for that. Fun family time, I love it. Right? It's really just time to disconnect and time for us to do it, right? We need to put our phones down. We need to listen without looking at our phones. I am very guilty of that. And I just like put my phone in the other room sometimes because I know that at my kids' age, like I'm not going to get this time back with them. And I need to have that, right? So just thinking about conversations, right? These are just things that you all are doing. So thank you. Tyra's like, yes. And then talking about internet safety, right? How are we making sure we are treating others the way we want to be treated? Please make sure you look at your passwords. And Apple just went like crazy on my phone. Oh yeah, right, Ms. Strong? Apple decided that they can tell you now if you go into your passwords that you need to change them. If you have an iPhone, I'm sure other devices do that. Think about what you are posting, right? Keep it clean and try not to meet online friends offline. Whew, this is my biggest fear. I don't know how you all feel about it, but who are people that these kids are talking to? Is this really a 12-year-old? Is this a 40-year-old? OMG, right? Just try to be friends with people that you know, and that's a real challenge, and we'll talk a little bit about that too. Click in. And if something does come up that you have either witnessed something that's inappropriate, someone sent something to you, right? It's important. It's hard, Morrow, but there is a way to delete a post. And it says once something is up, it's always there. So there's always a way to go back and get it. Whether it's if I don't have the tech ability to do it, it can happen. But if you or your scholar comes to you and says, oh my God, this is what kids are saying to me, take a screenshot, save the threads. Responding to if someone's saying something that is unkind, right? You say stop. Don't say anything else. Right, go to a site like Time Machine. Okay, thank you, Kristen. I appreciate it, right? And then to contact appropriate parties. Our school, unfortunately, has been, participant in supporting families within this. So please do not hesitate to reach out. And again, worst case scenarios do exist, but they're not the norm. So just know that your engagement, your empathy, your encouragement to your scholar is really what they need, right? Without judgment, without conclusions, without jumping into action, right? Talk about it, see where they are. I just try to say something to my mom, and then it was like something she didn't like. So she'd be like, okay, so now you're never going there again, right? You're never seeing that friend again. And I'm like, I didn't finish what I said, right? That is not what's happening. I need to talk to you about this. I don't need you to make a decision about it right now. So Common Sense Media, this website is awesome. And they have this huge privacy and internet safety. They have a ginormous, I put it in the link at the end of this, a guidebook as to how do you do it in iOS versus on your Android versus your iPad versus your computer. So there are different ways, and I'll show you at the end, but it is there. But this Common Sense Media, it's a lot of where this slideshow is from. It's really, really great. Rethink is an app that you can put on devices that can allow for you all to see what your kids are writing, and it sort of filters through you before it gets published, which is it's tough, right? We want to give them independence, but if you're concerned about your kids' communication online, this is something that you could certainly do. And again, here are some websites. So there's Common Sense Media. Screenagers, if you have been here for a few years, we watched that movie about the impact of tech on kids. And the woman who made it is a doctor, and she has these Tech Talk Tuesdays where she gives advice. This is what I'm in a Tech Talk. Rethink Words is that app I just showed you. And here it is. the ultimate guide to parental controls. I looked through it, it covers everything. And given the fact that like there's always something new, what I like about Common Sense is that it's really at the forefront of it all. So please check that out. Again, I think we can throw it in the chat. I'll throw it in the chat once I stop. Oh no, I'm not screen sharing, just kidding. But check this out, it's really, really epic. And again, you know, we're all in this together, even though we're apart. So please reach out to me if you have questions, concerns. Please put things in the chat if you have additional questions. I know we want to make sure we have about 3 minutes. So if there are things that are coming up that you want to go back to, like come off mute or ask to come off mute, but I'm happy to, you know, answer some questions in the next few minutes before we transition to our next section. All right, well, thank you, Joanne, always. And please feel free to reach out. Again, I cannot claim to know everything about the internet. It is a very wondrous and very scary place. And just know that we're all there with you. Sometimes we get things in gaggle and we're like, right, what is happening? What is going on? Sometimes they're like 2 in the morning. So we are always there. So just know that we are your partners in this and there's never judgment about it. It's only support. So thank you all. I miss you all. I miss your children. I went into the building today and I was just like, this place needs kids. So please know that I'm thinking about all of you and just really miss you. So please reach out for anything. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ms. George. If you want to stop your screen share, I'm happy to take over there and you can drop the resources and things in the chat. And I am going to share a few updates and reminders before we turn it over just to you all for more questions or things that are coming up for you. So now I feel like Ms. George did when you're trying to toggle all the things. Won't it be nice when we can meet in person again? Although I have to say the virtual meeting space is really allowed for lots of people to join who might otherwise not be able to. So I'm thankful for that. So as you know, we are in the mid-year phase. And what that means in terms of what's going on in class is that we're in our like mid-year data collection cycle. And so I'm going to talk to you about a couple of the upcoming assessments that we're going to be giving and the importance of them. And we'll be able to answer some questions. So as you know, you were getting all kinds of messages from me this week around biweekly quiz number 4 in math. This is a really critical mid-year math data point because it is going to assess student progress on all the standards we've taught so far this year. And so it is really, really important that we get this data point for all students so that we as the educators know what landed, what are we mastering, and what do we need to reteach. And so make-ups are happening tomorrow. So if your scholar missed either yesterday or today, they are going to get an invitation from Miss Golio. It probably already went out. She will also send you a Kinvo. It's really important that they go to advisory in the morning. They're going to check in and take attendance. And then they will be swooped over with Miss Golio to make up or finalize anything that they need to, starting at 8:45. So again, the data from this will be shared with families in the coming week. You'll be able to see a report that shows like what standards is my student performing well on, where is she missing the mark, and then that will help. We'll talk on the 27th at our chat and chew about how to understand the data and what to do about it, and how we can use some of our programs like IXL and Khan Academy to give students extra practice, specifically in the areas that they need it. MAP testing is the next window of our mid-year data collection. It is critical information for us. We've had a couple chat and choose where we've talked about why MAP is important. But the big highlight is this is the assessment that is going to measure growth. It is critical that no matter where students started this year, that they are on track for growth. And this is our one assessment that is nationally normed that tells us if we are on track for growth. It also tells us achievement, right? Where are they performing in relation to students across the country? Because it's nationally normed, but it is our best predictor for state test proficiency. And it is also, again, the only assessment we have that gives us growth. So what's awesome in talking to your scholars about it is nobody can fail the MAP assessment. So if you're a scholar that's testing anxiety, this is the place where they can shine, because it is all about showing what you know and doing your best. It is no pass or fail. It is about progress and growth, which goes with our core values and our focus on growth mindset. So January 19th, we will be launching ELA MAP. 20th is going to be for makeups, right? But we are aiming for 100% of students there on the 19th, which is next Tuesday, for ELA, and 100% of scholars there on the 26th for math. In order to make sure we can navigate tech glitches and give students as much time as they need, we are blocking off the morning for students to complete their MAP assessment and then log off and complete some asynchronous work, because no one should be testing for 3 hours. We're blocking off the time, again, to account for tech glitches and to make sure that we've got the space. But students should not be testing for that entire time. In the afternoon, students will have small groups and office hours on those Tuesdays, the 19th and the 26th. So we want to recognize that we're going to expect 100% effort in the morning. And so the afternoon, instead of having their regular schedule of all their classes, they're going to have their small groups and they're going to have office hours, so that there's a little bit more flexibility. There's still work to be completed, but we want to be responsive. And for those scholars who come on the 19th and the 26th, they give 110% of their effort on Wednesday, the 20th and the 27th. Instead of doing makeups, because they don't need to make anything up, they get to have and take part in a Winning Wednesday celebration. So that Wednesday morning, where we typically have small groups and office hours, is going to be a celebration of growth and a celebration of their hard work. They'll get to choose enrichment activities and breakout rooms to go in for the morning. So they'll have a synchronous celebration during that 9 to 12 time on the Wednesday. And for those scholars who loved Cozy Creative Writing Day, there may be a comeback where we do some share outs and some revisions of those amazing stories on that day. So again, the headline here is MAP shows us growth. Growth is non-negotiable. Every student that sits in our seats must make growth, and we need to know that we are on track. I need your help in making sure our kiddos are there on time and present the 19th and the 26th, and that you zhuzh them up, give them their pep talk, because this is just about their 100% best effort. Then we'll get to celebrate them on Wednesdays. Wednesday the 20th and Wednesday the 27th, again, will be those celebrations. And then because there's a lot going on, just wanted to give you all the kind of important upcoming dates in one place. If you want to screenshot this slide on your phone, that might be helpful. But we've got a lot coming up. So tomorrow, as I shared, we've got those biweekly 4 makeups. Be on the lookout. If your scholar was absent today or yesterday, they need to come for those makeups. We need them there by 8:30 for advisory, and then we'll go at 8:45. January 18th, this coming Monday, there is no school. It is in honor of Martin Luther King Day. So just a reminder. January 19th, again, ELA MAP. We need kids logged in on time. January 20th, we have our community council meeting at 5 p.m. in place of our chat and chew. There is also a high school meeting for families for 8th grade families at 6 p.m. on the 20th. More information to come from Miss McCullough specifically about that, but please know that we want to get you as much information as possible and the updates that I know we've been waiting for around the process and the window. And so all of that is coming on the 20th. 26th, math map, gotta be here. 27th is our chat and chew. We are gonna talk to you about how do I interpret this map data I'm getting and what to expect with progress reports, which are right around the corner. January 27th is also SHSAT testing for 8th graders who have opted in. That is the specialized high school admissions test. It is for any student that wants to apply to a specialized high school. That test is happening on the 27th. More information to come from Ms. McCullough as soon as our testing site and times are confirmed. 29th, which is that Friday, is trimester 2 progress reports coming out. Those will be, we'll talk more about them on the 27th, but you'll be receiving those, the PDF of those from your point of contact via email on the 29th. February 2nd, we are going to have our ELA IA number 3, right? We're in mid-year data collection. That's going to help us understand where are our girls on grade level standards for reading, so that we can compare that to what do we see in MAP and target instruction. The next week, they'll be measuring progress in science, the week of February 9th. And then we go on February break. Somehow then it'll be February 15th. Lord only knows how we got there. This year's already flying by. So lots of important things coming down the pipe. Again, if you want to screenshot this or take a picture of the slide, that might be helpful. But gonna pause here and just turn it over to you all in these last few minutes for Q&A. It can be for Ms. George or for myself. I'm gonna stop screen sharing and you can feel free to use the raise a hand function to come off mute or drop it in the chat.
Hey, Ms. Strong.
Yes,
Ms.
ma'am.
Yolanda. Can I just throw in for the community council? I know there was some questions previously, but community council is open to all parents and guardians within our school. So if you want to attend, if you want to participate, please come out and join. I mean, not even join, but just come to the meeting and just share your thoughts, your concerns, all of that. It's not just for us. A small group of parents. It's those parents that really want to get in there, ask any questions. It's really open and available for everyone. So please do join us next week. I just wanted to throw that out there because it was just a little concerned that it was just for a small group of people, but it's for everyone. So I hope to see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Miss Strong, I have a question.
Hi, Mara. I see your hand up. What's up?
So I'm like, you said that about like if we participate in the map, both of the maps. So you'll have a celebration. Like, what will we celebrate? Will it be the whole school or the whole grade?
That's a great question. I'm going to mute you just so that I can answer it and not get that noise. You're good. So it's going to be a celebration with your grade level. So each grade level is going to have a celebration of their own, and you're going to get to choose the activities that you want to do that day. And again, all that we need to do in order to celebrate is show up and give 100% best effort. So you'll find out more from your teachers. They've got some great ideas already. I saw floating around something about a karaoke party, something about TikTok challenge. I don't even know what TikTok is, but don't tell anyone. So it's going to be great. I see there's someone that's logged on his iPhone that's got a hand up. Feel free to come off mute. iPhone, if you can't come off mute, you're welcome to drop it in the chat. I'm going to review the chat and see if I missed a question in there. Great. I see that message. I will absolutely send you that information. Mara, I realize right now I've somehow pinned your video. And so the recording of this Chat and Chew is going to have your lovely face looking really close. I'm going to put it on gallery view. I love the background, all the green leaves.
Yes, all the green leaves.
Absolutely. And I saw your message, Mara, about it's a lot of things that we're assessing, and you're right. And the reason is because we need to know if what we're teaching is sticking. So it's as much about us understanding your performance and your family's understanding your performance and you understanding your performance, right? So think of it like independent practice, because we all need to know what's working and what's not, so we know where to focus our energy, right? And so it's important that we're able to get that information, because that's the only way we know how to teach best. And the only way you can set your own goals is to know what's working. It's just what every kid wants to hear about a quiz at school. I know. It was a very principal answer. All right, I'm not seeing any other hands up or any other questions directly in the chat. If you're having a hard time with either of those features and you just want to come off mute for a question, you are totally welcome to do that as well.
I just want to say goodbye to everybody. I need to take care of my little baby loves, but it's always good to see you. And please reach out for anything. I keep telling you I miss you till I see you again. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.
Oh, wait, Miss George, I'm the host, right?
I think you're a co-host.
Can you make me the real host? Otherwise, as soon as you hit buy, it'll shut it down. Glad I caught.
I'm not shutting down the show. I'm just going to leave and exit. Not quietly, clearly. All right, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.
Okay, and for those of you, again, want to give an apology for the tech glitch that we had. If you joined late or you got stuck in a waiting room, my computer was doing a strange overheating thing, and I apologize for that. Hopefully you were able to get in here. I will post the recording of this both on our Facebook page. I'll also send it out via Kinvo. I'll drop it in a Kinvo message for you so that if you missed the first part, you can go back and see it. And again, next week, huge plug, come to our community council meeting on the 20th. We want all of the voices there. We've got the greatest leaders in all the land, and they are so great at giving us feedback and telling me what's working and what's not. They truly do advocate for you all, for this community in more ways than are visible. to the outside. So please come and have your voice as a part of the conversation. We get better because you help us get better. And it's a great platform to make sure that you can give that feedback and also just get information from that incredible group of parents. So thank you, everyone. I'll post this again. Have a great rest of the week. Miss Reeves, I have not seen you in too long. I like that snack. I'm feeling jealous. Please tell your family I said hi. I just saw you. She's like, dang it, that's the first time I came on camera and I caught you right in the moment. So good to see your face, though. Have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Miss Joy.
Bye.